Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Now, I've got a beer here, which it's not a supermarket beer. Obviously, recently I've been doing more supermarket beers because I want, beers that you can just go out and grab yourself, and hopefully, if you like them, maybe move on to different beers from that brewery. But there's a reason that I've gone slightly off that path for this one. On Friday night, me and Shane and our nephew Alfie went out for a drink. Popped to our local craft beer bar, Ninkasi in Taunton. And they had one can left of a beer which is very hyped up, shall we say. And I've never had any of the previous year's versions. Obviously, this is it's a beer which people look forward to each year. Some years are better than others from what I gather. And from down in Cornwall, from Verdant Brewery comes, I think you've guessed it by now, Putty. So here we have it, the 2024 Putty. Now, as I'm sure you can tell on the can wrap there, it's very putty-like in design, isn't it? Let's have a look at it. If you don't know, it's a double IPA. This one comes in at 8%, and they've used Azacca, Galaxy and Mosaic as the hops. All hops I do enjoy. Now, it has, been around for a while. Obviously it changes every year. Like I say, I've never been able to try it before now. I thought, well, I've got to really, haven't I? I saw one can left. Yes, I have spent £10 on a single can of beer, but hopefully it's going to be well worth it. There's a bit of dust in the rim there. There we go. Right, okay, so without further ado, let's give it a go. Now, before I do get it open and into my glass, there's barley, wheat and oats in the malt there, in the malt bill. So I'm expecting it should be quite smooth. Should be quite soft with those oats. There's only one thing to do, isn't there? Now, I do like Verdant anyway. They are a very good brewery. So, hopefully, this lives up to the hype. And it is absolutely delicious. There we go. Beer in the glass. Let's pop that down for a second so I can pop him to one side. Right, so what have we got? Now, as you can see, it is I don't know on the light because I've got the main light and the lamp behind me as well, but I would say that's a very rich straw coloured beer. I mean, that's got haze for days, hasn't it? There's nothing getting through that. I mean, a tiny bit of shadow when I block the light, and that's really it. There's actually a bit of weight to the beer as well, which is, it's a good sign. Oh, plenty of orange aroma, and it's that sweet citrus as well. It's not just orange. There's clementine, there's satsuma. There is something else in there, and I think it's a bit of pineapple. It does smell fantastic. It does smell like a traditional, I say traditional, not traditional as in a traditional IPA, but a classic New England style IPA. Obviously being a double as well, it's going to ramp it up a little bit. But that is really fantastic on the nose. trying to get as much of that aroma into my nose as possible, get as much smell as I can. Yeah, loads of sweet citrus. That's your main aroma coming in. It smells fantastic. It looks pretty damn good too. Barely any head to speak of course, but at that higher ABV, are you going to get that higher head? Of course you're not. Can't quite see the carbonation because obviously it's so hazy. No hissing carbonation either. So there's only one thing left to do. Let's get into it. Okay. On the first taste, it's a bit dank. Only slightly. The chap who runs Ninkasi, he did say that in previous years putty can be a bit green to begin with, and you should really leave it a month or so, but he did say this wasn't as green. I'm glad of that. If it was any greener, I think it would taste a bit of eating grass. It has got just that right level of dankness for me. You don't want anything too danky, murky. It's going to be off-putting. That, at that level, it just opens up the palate a bit, which is nice. And remember, it's not a beer you're going to just drink and drink and drink. It's one to savour. So, you know, being a bit dank, absolutely fine. Trying to hold that mouthful in just for a little bit longer before I swallow it, just to try and open it up a bit. Now, picking out the fruit flavour, it is a bit hard when you've got that dankness to begin with, but there is plenty of citrus in there. There's definitely blood orange. I am picking up hints of the clementine, the satsuma, the tangerine, those slightly sweeter citruses. There's no strong bitter pineapple or pineapple. Grapefruit is what I meant to say there. Just excuse me whilst I put a brain in. You're not getting that bitter, sharp, grapefruity flavour coming in. If you did, I think it would compete too much with that murky dankness at the beginning. And if you get a beer where the flavours are really competing with each other, it just cancels everything out and you don't really get anything, do you? Now, on the back end, there is a very slight pineapple coming in, which is obviously where my brain decided to pluck pineapple from, because as I swallowed it, I was getting it, so it is very slight. You know, it's just like a rounding off character there. You know, it's bringing the edge in, if you like, so that you're not getting that heavy bitterness, which sometimes with Galaxy especially, you can get a nice bitterness at the back end, but if you did with this, it would be too much going on in one go. You don't want this to be that bitter. You are picking up the ABV level. It's not massively so, but it's just enough to go, aha, yes, it is a double IPA. It's not going to make you go, ooh, that's a bit much for me, but it is going to make you think, if you like. It's still developing that dankness, which is actually quite nice. Now that the initial shock of it has worn off, it's smooth. Yes, the murkiness at the start is a bit unusual, but once you get past that, it's a fantastic beer. Now, obviously, because I've never had any of the previous year's putties, I don't really have anything to go by. I have heard some say that it's not as good as some they've had in the past. It's my first year of enjoying putty, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. Yes, I'm a bit late to the party with this one, you know, it's start of February already, but all in all, I think it's a damn fine beer. Yes, there's probably things that I would like a bit more or a bit less, but maybe dial down the dankness just a touch and then a bit more fruitiness just to make it a more well-rounded beer. But it's drinkable, it's very enjoyable, it's definitely not sessionable, because if you did session that one you might be on your backside pretty damn quick, but I can enjoy it, and I can really enjoy it, and that's at the end of the day what we're looking for when we have a beer, something we want to enjoy. I can enjoy that. It might take me a while to get through because of that murky dankness, but it's delicious. What more can I say? I mean, a fantastic beer. Wow. I have to say, my first year trying putty, absolutely fantastic. Definitely a beer I'll go back to, obviously next year, and hopefully next year it will be one that I'll enjoy just as much as this one. I do feel I should have gotten the putty bandwagon before now, but hey ho, you know, you can't have everything, can you? Now that I finally managed to try a can of it, I'm glad of that. Absolutely fantastic beer. Just one, but it might take me a little while to get through. Well, what more can I say? It is delicious. Now, cheers to you all. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe down there. And until next time, very, very happy drinking.